It's trash day, I'm putting you out, it's trash day. Putting you out, it's trash day. Putting you out of my mind. It's trash day, I'm putting you out, it's trash day. I'm putting you out, trash day, I'm putting you out of my mind. Now I'm gonna clean up, now I'm gonna clean up, now I'm gonna clean up the house. I'm taking all your garbage, taking all your garbage, taking all your garbage.
Legacies. Wrestling is built on legacies. And from the minute that you start your life, you are taking over somebody else's legacy. Randy Orton is a legacy, and there's tons of other legacies. We just did the legacy tournament. And now we're spotlighting a legacy that Mark is taking over. And not so much Mark, but Ethan as well. So today, it's not Can Crusher Day. It's Helen Martinez Day.
Guys, you've known, following the podcast the last couple of days, the last couple of weeks, my mother's been in bad health. And I'll step back before I introduce everybody that's here that lost my mother. And there would be no other way I could do a better tribute to my mother that was a closet wrestling fan. Besides anybody here at the table, they'll tell you over this next 45 minutes to an hour that that's what we're here for today. You're going to hear stories that should never be told before or ever again, but that's what this podcast is for. I couldn't move on with Can Crushers unless I did this with my mother. So joining Can Crushers today, beside myself, Mark Martinez, Paul Bowlers, the English professor, John Padalano, the Rated X Garbage Crusher, Pat Lapino, and the greatest sponsor loving of everything pizza, Dom Padalano is here tonight, and it's just gonna be stories. And I'm more or less gonna take a step back and let you guys talk. I'll intervene when I want to. Legit, I'm gonna cry tonight, guys. I know this is gonna be a fact. This is legit. My mother was buried 5 hours ago, and this is the way that I need to release where I'm coming from tonight. And I hope you guys appreciate the wrestling stories that we're going to bring to you involving my mother. Is that good, guys?
Sounds great.
Yeah, sounds great.
So,
Mark, normally we are two everyday garbage men drinking beer and talking wrestling, but today we are 5, 6 great friends talking about a great woman.
Yep.
And I'll do it tonight. Let's give the toast, the Can Crusher toast, to Helen.
I love you, Mom.
We love you. I love you. Cheers.
So I'll start the stories real quick. 3/4 of these jackasses were always down my mother's house.
One of them was way too young to be down there. Sorry, that's gonna be this guy. I'm not gonna have many stories, but
You can intervene.
yeah.
And I'll lead, and hopefully somebody takes over. There's been so many times that there's been 20, 25 people in my mother's house just watching wrestling. And we'll get to some of her favorites, and we'll talk about them, why she liked them and everything. But we're going to tell stories of us growing up and John breaking fucking everything at my mother's house.
Already, what's coming out? Listen, Helen's not here anymore, so we can use the F word. Is that going to be the one we're doing?
Tonight, yes. John broke every piece of furniture at my mother's house. So, no disrespect to any of you. I need to lead with John.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that. First of all, before I get to a story about your mom, I want to share that our Can Crushers leader here, Mark, is very aptly named. He is the biggest Mark that I know.
Nonetheless.
Well, take a drink. We're taking a drink.
right. Before we get into it, every time I say nonetheless, this, that, or the other, these guys have to drink with me. It's that kind of night.
Nonetheless, this, that, or the other. So Mark is very aptly named, and I'll tell you why. And this is a Helen story. When Matilda was sick.
Matilda is the English Bulldog's actual bulldog.
Right.
The actual English bulldog.
Right.
For the young guys that like me that don't know what they're
Sorry, yeah, the British Bulldogs had a bulldog that they brought to the ring, Matilda. When Matilda was sick, Mark asked his mom if he could write to Matilda. And his mom said yes. Any other mom would have been like, no, this is stupid, and I'm not wasting the envelope, the ink, and the stamp. Mark's mom said yes, and that's why she was
At
a
that
dog.
time, 5 cents later, it was so she's like 15 cents out.
Probably a 35 cent stamp back then.
Probably cheaper.
But I wanted $1 card at least.
So she's out $1.15.
Right.
Yeah, like
His dog never got it. I'm sure of this.
I'm sure the dog got it and he appreciated it.
Just last night, I had to break the news to Mark that 2 things. 1, Matilda probably wasn't sick, and 2, the reason she chased Jimmy Hart around so much is because Jimmy Hart really loved her, spent a lot of time with her, gave her treats, trained her, and played with her. So when the dog saw Jimmy Hart, Matilda, she would run to Jimmy Hart and chase him around because she really loved him. So I don't know if, Mark, you believe that the dog hated Jimmy Hart and Jimmy Hart wanted to kill her or whatever, but I hated to... As your friend, I had to be the one to tell you the truth.
I didn't know this, but out of that story turns a great story. I want to tell you some stuff that happened with Mom in the doctors and the hospitals and everything. We're very drunk, by the way.
Long podcast.
I'm very drunk. We met somebody that is has an English bulldog and is going to have puppies here in the near future. And me loving Matilda was always something that I'm like, yeah, I want an English bulldog. My wife didn't like him at the time. Long story short, this lady is now caught on to my wife and has told us stories about English bulldogs. But what told us that we need an English bulldog, in the last few days, I've been just scrolling through my mother's Facebook, and she took text over what wrestler she would be, what can of beer she would be, what her name meant, what I mean, anything. My mother did any test on Facebook, and she actually did one of what dog she would be. And the English bulldog popped up, and I sent that picture to my wife. And now she's ready to mortgage the house, sell the child. I have to go to the sperm bank tomorrow, just make money.
Wait a second. Hold on a second. The sperm bank. After recent events, how much money are you going to make at the sperm bank?
You're going to be ripping people off.
Come on, man.
Just saying.
You could go to the blood bank and sell that.
Just saying. You
could also go to, like, I don't know, Prego or the other one.
Just saying. We're looking for money anyway because now we're going to get a bulldog. All right. I didn't know how many people knew the whole story, but Jesus Christ.
Well, now everybody knows the whole story. Oh, my God. Even Seth Rollins' parents in Idaho know the whole story.
I'm done. All
right.
Next person's story.
As far as...
John's trying to be so nice.
I know.
We need to relax and remember my mom this way.
Okay. You know,
Please tell them about every furniture you broke.
I'm going to get to that. My introduction to Helen and wrestling, even before coming over to your house, Mark, you and I knew each other. We were starting to get to know each other, but we were still pretty young, so I didn't spend a lot of time at your house just yet. We knew each other from school, maybe the school bus, maybe we ran into each other at my dad's pizzeria. But when Ridgeway, Pennsylvania caught on to the fact that there was a series of action figures released in 1984 or 85 called WWF-LJN, in 1989, we kind of lost our minds.
We did. We got a lot of people then.
We did. And before I get to the quick Helen story. Mark and I would try to get one over on each other. We traded LJNs. So, hey, Mark, I'll give you Mr. Fuji for Fred Blassie because I never had Fred Blassie. Then I'd go to Widman's where Mark's mom worked, and I'd buy Mr. Fuji.
For $3.99.
Right. And then Mark traded somebody else and then went to Widman's and bought the same thing. We two morons could have just gone to Widman's and bought the ones we wanted, but we thought we were slick, trading them first. And
But
then
we
going
never
to buy.
traded Slick.
We never traded Slick. No. But when I heard they had these there, my brother surprised me with a few that Christmas. But there were others. So when I went in there, I didn't know where they were because they wouldn't let me into the store to go look. But once Christmas was over, I went in there and I asked a young girl if she knew where the LJN wrestlers were. And she didn't really know what I was talking about. But the manager on duty, Mark's mom, Helen, knew exactly what I meant. And she took me to where they were. And I just thought, I didn't really know this lady, but she was so sweet and so kind. I knew it was Mark's mom, but because of how just generous with her personality she was, I felt like I should know her better. Is this, for some reason, this is a relative I don't know really well, and I should know. But she knew where the wrestlers were, she knew who they were, and I thought that was pretty cool as a little kid that there was a lady working there who knew who all the wrestlers were. And then as far as being at Mark's house, I still feel terrible that I broke that recliner. My big, stupid, fat ass just...
Wait a second. We'll get into that.
Tell the story of how you broke it.
Well, the recliner I just sat down in.
But then you ended up power slamming me or power bombing me.
Yeah.
After it was broken, you made sure it was legit broken.
Yeah.
It wasn't so
coming back from this
shit, Helen, I've just accidentally broke it. You wanted to make sure that it was Tommy Dreamer broken.
Yeah. Sitting in it is what started the process. I just remember hearing like a clunking noise and the whole thing sinking, and I felt terrible. But your mom was a doll. She could not have made me feel any better about breaking her chair, and it was an accident. You know, the second time when I choke slammed you or power bombed you on it was not an accident. But one other quick story about wrestling at your house. This is probably my favorite Helen story. Razor Ramon and Diesel had started to show up on WCW television. Before the NWO formed, they could not be referenced as Razor Ramon and Diesel, but they weren't giving away their real names yet, even though everybody knew who they were. One of the coolest times in wrestling. And it was a pay-per-view, and Eric Bischoff asked outright, do you work for the WWF? And Razor said no, Diesel said no. Razor said, forget about the past, Chico. Then when they asked who the opponents are, Eric Bischoff said, I can't tell you right now. Getting to the heart of the matter, we hated Eric Bischoff. Huge marks for Razor and Diesel. When Razor punched him in the gut and Diesel jackknifed him off the platform through the table, Mark and I jumped up and down, screaming, hugging each other. They kept showing it over and over again. Helen comes downstairs and peeks her head in and goes, what the heck's going on in here? And Mark, you know, being Mark...
Brash. I'm very brash.
He couldn't put words together. He's like, Mom, and then she just said, well, did somebody win that you really wanted to win? And I was like, no, they punched that guy in the stomach and they threw him off the platform. It's like, okay, have a nice time. And she went back upstairs. So, thank you, Helen. Thanks for letting us just do our thing in your house. You were beyond kind and generous, and we love you, and we're going to miss you.
You saw that in the... she was very vocal in the Legacy of Wrestling tournament that we're doing right now on Facebook. That I reached out to her recently saying, Mom, can you vote for Baby Doll? We really wanted Baby Doll to win the match. So she doesn't vote on much. You guys can go back and look at all the voting.
The votes, Mark. I see.
Honestly, Mark comes into work on Monday and he's like, Baby Doll is losing or has lost. And he's like, my mom actually texted me and was like, Baby Doll lost. I'm so mad about this. I don't know what to do. And
oh, wow.
She wrote on the comments, like, I can't believe Baby Doll lost. It wasn't because she liked Baby Doll. It was because Mark liked Baby Doll.
Right. It was, yeah.
Baby Doll was one of Mark's favorite wrestlers, and she just wanted Baby Doll to win because it was Mark's favorite wrestler. And that has a lot to say about Helen.
Yeah,
It does.
How unselfish she was all the time.
Right, and she didn't care. There was tons of
She
times.
didn't care anything about
There's
wrestling.
tons of times in these tournaments when Mark's like, it's 50-50. I got to call my mom.
Yeah.
Why are you calling your mom? And
Tell her
he's
who
like,
I wanted to vote to win.
I'm like, why are you calling your mom?
Now
And
they
he's
know
like,
the
because
match,
she will definitely vote for one person or the other. I don't care who she votes for, but it's not going to be a tie.
Right. I hate ties.
yeah.
I hate ties.
My mom hasn't voted yet. Don't worry. My mom is all I ever. My mom hasn't voted yet. Don't
Pulling out the
worry.
Helen card.
Yeah.
She put a sad face on the Baby Doll
She was
one.
crying.
Oh, she was mad.
And I said to her, Helen, it's okay. And she goes, but that's who you and Mark really wanted to win, right?
Right. She was a mark of Can Crushers.
She was. She
Of
was
anything.
anything.
Not wrestling, just Can Crushers.
Mark.
So,
If there was a baby face in the world of wrestling, it was your mom. She was the baby face.
Yep.
Yeah.
really was. Pat, I don't know where to go next, so we'll just go around the table.
I mean, what to say about Helen that has been said? She's the original Can Crusher mom, the original force behind all of this. She put up with us watching wrestling when wrestling
20 deep.
when like wrestling just started at $30 and we were going to your house, my house, his house, and then after we got kicked out of all of our houses and it was just traditionally your house.
We did, wait, let me pause for a minute. I want to tell a story about that. We did get kicked out of the English professor's house.
Well-
very early because
It's John's fault.
heads went through walls, shit was torn up.
We found out who the Macho Man was.
We found out who the real Macho Man was. So we're like, oh God, where's wrestling going to be held? And Helen, again, open
Saved
arms.
us.
And I say Helen just so you guys know, is my mom. Open arms, invited riffraff into her house. It was legit nothing but riffraff.
It was us. It was
Oh,
the biggest
so
riff
you
I've
started the riffraff thing.
Yeah.
Because that woman would, like, I can remember another side story from this. Not even wrestling advanced, but we would drive past Sheets and you're like, my mom's at Sheets. The hell's she doing at Sheets at 7:30 in the morning? And Riffraff would come out of her car. And Riffraff would go back into her car. I don't even care if you. I don't care if you're the Riffraff. You are what I'm talking about. But she would pick them up and take them from their house, take them to Sheets, get them food,
Drug dealers is what Paul's talking about.
and drive them back home. But that's how her heart worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No matter who you are, no matter
Right.
where you were.
Right.
So when you say Riffraff,
Oh, we were riffraff at
Yeah,
first.
exactly.
We're still riff-raff.
Sorry, Riffraff reference. And now you can go back to your story. I'm sorry.
And also, I want to thank John for breaking the recliner because that opened a spot for me in the recliner.
It
the
did,
new recliner.
because at one point-
after him get kicked out, I maintained the recliner for the rest of my life.
She pointed that out to me. Make sure Pat got here early
Uh-huh.
because John's not allowed to recline or anything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame her.
He needs the side of the couch because John's rough on that. And I don't know if I've ever told you that, but
No, it's all right.
Helen was like, "You're just rough on shit, John."
He's a dick. And then, all right, whatever. Okay, so 2016. It's going to take a sad note. So 2016, my family, there was a fire at my family's house, or not my personal family, but my aunt and uncle, extended family. So anyway, this happened. We lost a couple family members. We're back and forth to Pittsburgh, this and that. And then I was contacting John and Mark, and I was like, I need to go. I need somewhere to put the kids because they can't go to these funerals and this and that. John came up from Pittsburgh. Mark's like, we can take them. Fast forwarding it. So Friday night was Mark's house night. And then I'm like, where do you want me to take it? This house or Helen's house? She's like, let's come to Helen's house. So we went to Helen's house. I didn't know Helen was going to be there tonight. I knew it was Mark, Ethan, and Kelly, and I'm like, they're more than capable of watching the boys. And Helen was there.
Mark's usually not.
Yeah, not Mark, not so much Mark, but then like Helen was there, and I haven't seen her in a while, and I'm like, holy cow! And then my boy was 3, my other boy was not even a year old, and Helen just took him in, and like I left, and definitely no problems because like she was just cuddling the heck out of him. And when I came back, it was the same spirit, and I'm like. And as soon as I got there, it was funny. She's like, Pat, you want your spot in the recliner? And I'm like, I haven't sat there in years. I was like, it's still my spot. Cool, thanks. And I was like, no, I'm good. And we were talking back and forth, and it was just great. It was just like, oh, man, like, how did she even remember this stuff? How nice she was that night. And on a rough term for me coming into town and stuff. Yeah. But other than that, yeah, thanks for giving me the recliner, John.
You're welcome. And on that note, I loved your mom, Mark. That goes without saying. I liked when she was happy with me, and the fact that
not too much. And far between.
Yeah, the fact that
today she might have been happy with you, but otherwise,
the fact that Pat took the recliner from me. Not if Pat took the recliner from me, whatever. We can go outside and settle it like men. Who gets the recliner?
Okay. All right. Well, then after this podcast, you heard that.
No, actually, do right now on the podcast. Actually, this might be our first live event.
We'll call it live.
If you have your video suit, like bring it out. You're gonna need it.
Jiu-jitsu, not jiu.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And it's called a gi, not a suit.
Jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu gi.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. The fact that Helen took the recliner away from me and gave it to Pat, it hurts. I'm not going to lie. It hurts my feelings. I still love her, but...
Even after today you did the eulogy and everything, I didn't forewarn you about that.
Yeah, I didn't know
really
that.
did.
I'd have done it anyway.
She made sure Pat was there earlier because you were just rough on furniture.
Speaking of eulogies, good job.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Excellent, John.
Guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was amazing. That was excellent.
Yeah, very good, John. Proud of you.
Yeah.
All right, let's make fun of John again.
So we have Dom here. Dom didn't join many wrestling events down at our house because you're. I'm not saying you're older, but you're more experienced.
Correct.
You just called him old.
No,
Right.
I call you more experienced all the time. You call him old.
I'm retro.
Yeah, you're retro.
Retro Dom.
So you're retro Dom.
But I do have a story I want to share.
There's many memories.
I do have a story I'd like to share.
I can't go.
We usually meet at my mom's house about once a month.
That's enough.
And
No.
is that
He's already crying!
He's already starting to tear up. It's like, no, that's not
we would meet at my mom's house, whether it be for lunch or brunch or
Dinner.
breakfast or something. And it was about a couple of months ago, back in May, I believe it was, that I had asked Mark, I said, what's your mom's number? And so I got mom...
867...
5309.
867-5309.
Right.
That's for Jenny.
I got your number.
But that's all right. But we were playing phone tag because I guess she didn't recognize my number, and then she would try to call me back, and every time I tried to answer, anyway, back and forth and all around. I finally did get a hold of her, and we were planning a get-together. It was one of the first Sundays of June, and I says we're getting together because we'd like to celebrate.
Mark. Just Mark.
No, you let him tell a story. Stop it.
But we were getting together to celebrate my son's girlfriend's birthday, Sydney, which was June 6th, my brother John's birthday, which is June 18th, and my mom's birthday, which is June 14th. And we invited her over, and she actually brought a card for both, for Sydney, for my brother, and then brought a little something for my mom. And that's to show the type of person that she was. She wanted to know why we were getting together, who was going to be there, and she made an effort to bring something for somebody, just to show those people that she was thinking about them. She was the type of person that, as been said before, the eulogy and throughout the weeks, the Mass as well, throughout the weeks on what type of person she was. And Helen, we love you. We miss you. Today was a beautiful service for beautiful memories, for a beautiful person, and We're gonna miss you, Helen. I miss that smile. I miss the Italian mannerisms. She looked like a powder keg, short and stout, and ready to explode at any time. But she was a beautiful person. You know, if you can, as the priest said today, you know, the eyes are the window of the soul. When you looked into her eyes, you saw what type of person she was. With that, I want to raise a toast to Helen. Helen, we love you.
We love you, Mom.
And we miss you.
We love you.
Love you.
To very quickly, Mark, to my brother's point, we're telling some wrestling related stories about your mother. You know, we mentioned church. She was a faithful churchgoer. But when you talk about, and this is not to get too religious, but if you're a Christian, if you're out there and you're a Christian, and you think about what that means and what your obligation is, and I'm not just saying this because we're at Mark's house and we're celebrating his mother, I don't know a better example. Guys, Paul told a story just now about her giving a ride to possibly drug dealers. And this is a woman who turned her back on no one. No one, you guys. That's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing, and she was really special.
She was.
It didn't matter if you were Christian, if you were
Muslim.
anything else, Muslim, anything.
Did you just say Muslim
she
just
was a
because
human.
that's the only thing you
No,
know?
no,
Besides, wait a minute. I know you're going down a different path.
I just took a different religion
Pat
on it.
throws Muslim in just because that's the only other thing he knows.
He's trying to sound cultured.
Right.
I heard Muslim once somewhere.
Right. I know you're being heartfelt. This jackass.
I wasn't being
Son of
hardcore.
a bitch. We're gonna fight.
Thank God he did that because I didn't know where I wanted to go.
But Pat doesn't want you to go Muslim.
No, he said Muslim.
What's wrong with Muslim? What do you have wrong?
That's the only thing you know. All right, sorry.
Muslim, Jewish, Buddhist, whatever it was.
I'm just saying, nobody said anything else.
It's
But
okay
Pat
when Paul
made
says
a
it,
point
though.
to say Muslim.
I read your mom's pamphlet today. I don't know what it's called, but it's
In church?
Yeah,
Or
in
like-
church. In
or
church.
the Sandwich.
The
That's what
pamphlet.
we call them.
The pamphlet. What is it called?
We call them.
Who are you, Mark?
In our family, my grandmother, anytime you go to a funeral or anything, my family also has a sickness.
Stop wrestling.
All right, yeah, stop playing with the wrestling figures.
No, you figure this out so I can hear what you said.
All right, and it started from my grandmother, you know, from an uncle that passed or whomever that passed.
Who wasn't Muslim?
They were Muslim. My
I'm
wife,
asking.
they are.
They didn't throw him in the ocean when he died?
They did.
Okay.
They did.
All right, seriously, stop. Go ahead, Mark.
But my wife is here, and
They're cackling in the background.
my cousin that's been through many as well, Becky, thanks for dealing with this shithole. Growing up, our grandmother always called, I don't know what they're called, prayer cards or whatever, but growing up, Grandma always called them sanduches. It might be a different dialect from you guys or whatever, but it was, make sure you get a sanduche when you go to the funeral. Long story short, folks, it's a trading card of a person that's passed away.
Listen,
and I don't mean it mean,
this one-
but that's what it is.
This one of your mom is not a trading card. It is a whole freaking book.
You have the program from church.
I'm still wearing my dress pants. You guys are all in shorts. It's horrible.
I thought you grabbed the sanduche. No. Father Justin puts those out. This is a program for church.
This was the best thing that I've read in a while. And
First of all, you don't read.
Exactly. It's the
By the way,
first thing you read in a couple weeks, couple months.
so it didn't take me long to read through this, which is amazing for me.
That you can read, first of all.
Yeah. It says, if you're not Catholic or unable to receive communion today, please come forward to the priest and receive a blessing. Oh.
Put your hand over your heart.
Yeah.
He'll bless you.
And the last word says, thank you. And let us continue to pray the words of Jesus for all of Christians, that one day we'll all become one. It's not about what religion you are.
Yes.
It's not about where you're from or
Right,
who you were.
What color you are. Anyway.
You're Muslim
We're
or
a
not,
human.
right?
We're a human being. It's all about
Keep
one
it
love.
up, pal.
So, and that was amazing to me. And then for a guy like me, so I'll give you a backstory of me because my mom died.
Yeah, listen now. Paul's the very junior of the Can Crushers. Wasn't at the
Any of the wrestling events.
none of the events.
Because a lot more furniture probably would have got broken
Oh,
with his big ass
You thought Chris
Jesus.
Evans was bad. Paul would have powerbombed the shit out of you.
But he would have broke John in half, I think.
But on a side note, from the Can Crusher experience and everything, Miss Helen has rolled out of this guy's mouth. I don't know. A million times in 30 years, bro. I really have no clue.
I'm
Nonetheless.
All
All
right,
here we go. So
I'm 26 years.
They're gonna hate your
Yeah,
this
podcast,
year
bro.
yeah,
in actually 4 days. So I don't know if you knew this, but 4 days from now, my mom has passed.
Wow.
26 years. What I want to tell you is it's gonna suck,
yeah.
and it's gonna suck for a long time.
I have my
pumpkin?
I have my pumpkin,
A Yingling,
a Yingling, and I have my
some
Frangelica, and I have an unopened Yingling ready because this son of a bitch already told me be prepared to cry. So, or go comatose. tonight.
Every one of those things isn't gonna help you.
I know.
But you have a Dom. You have a
Pat.
foul mouth.
Erratic.
You have a John. You have a brother.
Yeah, listen, guys. He doesn't want any recognition, but Mother Trucker, he's in the background tonight giving us.
Oh, we're gonna get a story from John. We're gonna get a story. From
We're
Yes, we
we're
are.
getting beers delivered to us because legitimately this is the most beer we drank on this podcast ever in our life. There's 12 sitting here, and my brother,
That's Matt Williams.
he is not one to be on a podcast or anything, but he's in the background. Excuse me. Unedited, guys. This is what it is tonight. He's been delivering us beers because one, I need them. I'm making them drink them.
He needs them.
He needs them. My family in the background needs them because this is for my mom.
Yeah.
I want you guys to know how raw Can Crushers is. John has posted stuff that I've given him a leeway. Listen, I'll give Paul his due in his time. I just felt right now it's been really rough in the last couple days that John's been leading you guys up and where everything's going and everything. I'm not going to get into details, but I still want to do everything on Can Crushers. I really do. I want you guys to know that I love the support that we get from Can Crushers. I don't know. A million people have sent something out.
Wait, what? Wait.
Millions and millions have sent something out for Can Crushers. I want to take a point to say, Jenny Plummer, Justin Plummer, if you listen to this, I love you guys.
They definitely listen to this.
We started as me and John being two jackasses coming watching you guys, and now you're legit members of our family. What you did this weekend for me reaches out to all of us. Al Snow and Chad Miller. I can't thank you enough. I'm really gonna stop talking real quick because I'm gonna cry. You guys are amazing. I love you, and here's the rest of the guys.
Mark asked me to contact either Justin or Jenny. I contacted both of them. We were going to go to Wheeling.
Well, first of all, wait. I don't.
That's all right. No, go
I
ahead.
thought you were going to stop talking. Let this guy talk.
No, go ahead, Mark.
First of all, I don't want to give Chad or Al their disrespect.
Sure.
Tuesday we were going down to OVW because Fight for Freedom was on September 11th. Tuesday my mom passed. Clearly, everybody knows. So Wednesday we weren't going to be there. Disregard everything else, and here's John.
We had tickets reserved. We had ringside seats reserved for IWC for Friday night in Wheeling, West Virginia, and we were stoked. We were really looking forward to it.
Jimmy
Nuts' return against Dylan Bostic, and I tried to give Mark his time, which, by the way, guys, he never left his mother's side. I don't want to get too far into
11 days.
but he never.
I'll get into it.
Go ahead.
11 days. You sat by your mom. And now I'm going to cry. But 11 days. You sat by your mom's side and you never left her.
That's right.
Amazing.
That's pretty incredible.
That's
That's
awesome.
pretty incredible.
It is.
That's awesome.
Jenny and Justin didn't bat an eye. Jenny reached out and said, whatever Mark needs, pass along our thoughts and prayers. And, you know, they're trying to run a business. And I'm sure it sucks to lose 5 or 6 or however many ringside seats it was. But they were more than understanding. They were caring. And I thought that was the end of it. And that would have been fine had that been the end of it. But I get to Helen's viewing, and Mark says, let me show you something. Take a look at this flower arrangement. Now, I didn't think anything of it. I mean, I noticed a beautiful flower arrangement and a beautiful-looking card, and I read it, and there were some beautiful words, and I was stunned when I saw it was from Justin and Jenny and your IWC family. You guys you're unbelievable. We thought we were fans. You guys were wrestling promoters. We enjoyed the show. But as Mark said, if you guys are okay with it, I think at this point we're probably family.
More than.
Yeah.
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 We,
go ahead.
Go ahead, Mark.
Mark. I'm not that guy.
Everybody's Mark.
Everyone's a Mark. No, when I went to the viewing, I was looking at exactly what you were looking at, and I'm like, holy cow, this is from the Plumbers. I'm like, Mark, they gave you something. I'm like, that's awesome. I'm like,
Yeah.
they didn't have to do that. I'm like, that's so nice. I'm like, that just shows the character of IWC and their background and what they are.
Right.
I was like, wow. I was like, good for them. I was like, thank you. Go ahead, Dom.
Anyway, what I was going to say was that we visited, my brother John and I visited Helen. It was Sunday, September 1st. It was before Labor Day. We went in and it was nice to see the people that were there. And Mark was there, and I believe Scott was there as well. I went there again on Saturday, I believe it was. I had stopped to do some shopping in Du Bois. Stopped by and see them before, did my shopping, stopped by and saw them after. And then it was, I believe, Sunday. I forgot what day it was. All the days seemed to mesh together. And I took my mom to go see her. And the boys never left her side. And I says, we're here. Do you need something to eat, something to drink? Do you want to go for a walk? And neither Scott nor Mark left her side. And that shows quite a bit of character on their part, but also quite a bit of character on Helen's part. Had Helen been any less of a loving person, any less of a caring person, then they would have said, okay, we'll go for a walk and we'll be back whenever. But they never left her side, regardless of what condition she was in or whatever she was facing. And it was rough. When you see someone full of life and loving her children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and something, we're all human. Nobody's perfect. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to live and work through these mistakes. But when you see her in the condition that she was in, it's just difficult to see a person in that condition. But to see the boys, with her side by side and not wanting to leave her side, that speaks character of of Helen raising 2 boys. And we love you, Helen. I'm sorry for bringing that up again, but I just feel I needed to share.
That was excellent usage of neither nor, by the way.
Neither nor.
Very good, though.
What's this guy?
Like I said, legacy.
That's true. Good word.
26 years now. And
30 year, bro. Never mind.
30 years, bro. 30 years, bro.
Sorry, go on.
I mean, best friends the whole time. No, but 25 years, you'll learn that it'll suck. And the days that suck are going to really suck.
Yeah.
But cry.
Yeah, exactly.
Please
Very good.
cry.
Yeah.
Please cry. Ugly cry in front of friends, in front of family. Don't hold it in.
Correct.
It's not worth it.
Nope.
But you are the legacy.
Listen. Shut up, Paul. You're going to hear a lot of silence over the next, minute or so, but 1989, my mother and my uncle got loaded off of Frangelica in Florida when me and my brother were there. And this has always been me and my brother's drink for my grandmother, my grandfather, or my uncle, or whatever. Please, if you want to go buy Frangelica and re-listen to the podcast, that would be fucking amazing. I've been the only one that said F twice tonight, but it's my mom, so I'm not allowed. So, hopefully, as I take a drink, these guys will pass along a message. As I pass along the Frangelica, we all can say something about my mom. Guys, my brother doesn't say a lot.
You don't talk.
He doesn't talk. But
mute.
He's mute.
He's
He's duct taped in the corner.
in this
He got talk.
in this 42 minutes that we've been here with you
Oh,
tonight.
now all of a sudden you know what the time clock says?
I mean, it
We've been
says it
doing
right
this
on the timer.
podcast for a year
42
and a
minutes
half.
heavy laps, ladies and gentlemen. 42 minutes. 18 minutes for me.
You know what the time clock says? I'm like, dude, we gotta keep this under an hour.
We're going Broadway, guys.
It's like 42 minutes. Oh, now you
Sorry,
know. Now you know.
And the next wrestler will be in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's Roman Reigns.
Of all Alright, so Dom doesn't get a shot at Frangelica.
He's absolved of one. Skip him.
Guys, this is unedited. I am not touching this podcast. So, this is what it is. You'll hear bottles being smashed. Bottles? Not maybe.
Cans.
Cans being crushed.
I'm taking my shot and passing it.
Man.
Oh, I do get a shot.
Wait.
Mom,
This
Mom, I love you.
is a perfect spot for Scott to talk. Scott,
Yeah, Scott, bring it in.
I don't talk.
you're allowed to talk.
You just
You
said
hear me
something.
in the background. I supply them with beer and everything. I'm quiet. I keep to myself. I love these guys to no end. If you can hear me, and
But you love your mother.
yes, I do love my mother. I love my mother.
This isn't for us. This is for her.
It is
Hey, man.
seriously for her.
So, I want to hear the best Scott mom story.
No.
Yeah, come on,
No.
give it to us.
No.
Come on, man. We all want to hear it.
It would be bailing him out of Toby.
Oh, man.
No. Keep me up all night and smack me in the face because she knew I was at a beer party.
Cop.
And I wasn't
Go ahead.
allowed to go sleep.
Keep going, Mark.
I wasn't allowed to go sleep.
Yes. No,
I want to hear it. I want to hear it, Scott.
I know them.
I want to hear Scott tell me this story. I want to hear it.
I know them. Him and his buddy Craig Perkins,
Isaac.
Jeff Kaiser. Not that I'm not rough around the edges, but he's a little bit rougher around the edges.
He's the oldest, right? That's the way that works. Like, you were the baby, but
Right, but
because he paved the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was an example.
Parties out in the woods.
That's why I sit here and I don't say nothing.
Cops bringing him home. It is.
Oh, wow.
And this is when, cops. I'm not getting in that story whatsoever.
Cops brought him
No,
home.
whoa,
It was not a
stop!
big deal.
Stop, because you'll go way too far. Pump
the brakes.
No. You will be.
Pat, go ahead, bring it on. I want to hear this Helen story. This is the Helen story I want to hear.
Go ahead.
I never got anything.
He didn't.
Every cop was on my baseball team.
It was unbelievably, Scott, at the underage of 17, was brought home and you're like, Helen, what the hell? All right, well, the next weekend, Helen. Not the same spot.
No.
Helen, don't buy it for him. Helen, what are you doing? But they would bring him home every weekend with nothing, like wiping. He's good to go. Not because Helen was a force in the community. Oh, sure as shit, it wasn't because of Scott. It was you. Nonetheless,
Nowadays,
it was not because of me.
Is it appropriate for another Helen wrestling story?
Let's talk about. We got some time yet, and we can touch on some of our faves. I already brought this up. Magnum TA. She would have left my dad for Magnum TA. She loved Dusty Rhodes. Excuse me.
You didn't say it right.
Excuse me.
No, Dusty Rhodes.
Oh, sorry.
Dusty Rhodes.
And Ric Flair. Ric Flair only came along because my mom really didn't like Ric Flair for the longest time.
No shit.
But when my grandfather was passing, years past, my grandfather woke up when he was very sick, and my grandmother went in front of my grandfather. He's like, and my grandfather was very brash. Trust me. He's like, holy shit, Ric Flair's here to see me. It was my grandmother. It was just a hair color. I don't understand where it was coming from. I don't know what Paul's doing right now on
Snapchat. Just keep talking.
So once my grandfather saw Ric Flair in my grandmother,
He fell more in love.
she felt more in love, and she hated him because my mother hated the jet flying.
Because he wasn't a nice guy.
No, he wasn't. But she loved Magnum. Magnum.
I mean, think of his name as Magnum.
Yeah, he's got that
No,
beautiful mustache.
Wait a minute, Pat.
Pump the brakes!
Wait.
Sorry. I'm just trying to think of what you
It's a
would think.
different Magnum that you use. Stop.
Paul finally gets it. It took him a couple minutes. He wasn't paying attention because he was Snapchatting.
I was trying to Snapchat other people into this conversation because
I was trying to get the millennials in there,
don't listen
but
to the
like,
podcast, but whatever. All right, we'll go with this.
Paul's with us now.
So who wants to talk about Magnum Dusty or Ric Flair?
I'm not touching
Besides Val
much right now.
Besides Val Venus.
Whoa!
Hello, ladies.
I'm trying to figure out who has better hair, John or freaking Paul.
We've got
Great hair.
Yeah, beautiful hair. Mark and I have
You have
nothing.
10 years difference between hair, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could lose it in 10 years.
Yeah, John's already
It still
losing
looks
it.
gorgeous,
Yeah, John's losing it.
Hold
You see it.
your tongue. If I lose this in 10 years, I'm going to be sad.
But Dom also,
John used to
also
look like
has
that, but
good
John
hair
looks
for
like
your
that
age.
now.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We've gone down a rabbit hole.
I'm
So
sorry.
I just have a quick Helen story. We all have commutes. Mark's got by far the longest commute because he's got to crawl his ass upstairs to his bedroom. June 12th, 1988, this guy to my right Pat Lupino. We went to see wrestling together with his mom. My birthday, as my brother mentioned, was the 18th. His mom took us to wrestling June 12th. The main event.
You went to.
Wait,
You went wrestling without me? What the hell? You went to wrestling with the Macho Man's wife?
I did. She had this star-studded dress, sparkling. Yeah.
She was twirling around. Go ahead. He knows dates better than... God damn.
Well, I just remember it was a few days before my birthday, which is why I
Wait.
And the year and everything else. Jesus.
Once the idiot shuts up.
Go ahead.
Holy drunk guy.
I guess that's me.
You were my new Helen. All right. First of all, let me.
What?
Let me explain.
Are you gonna make him wear a wig? Is it gonna be like Silence of the Lambs?
I was just thinking that.
This friendship took a turn for the worse. They're done.
You were my new. My
Hello,
mother.
Clarice. I'm sorry.
Go.
Everybody, stop!
You're not editing shit. I'm supposed to try it. I'll figure out how to do it.
This is unbelievable.
In the background.
You were my new mother.
Okay.
And it sounds weird.
It's not weird.
No, it doesn't sound weird at all.
It's not weird at all.
Please continue. I can't wait to hear where this is
If you
going.
guys would shut up, I would tell you.
Can I say it again?
You don't need any more Evan Williams. Let me tell you that. You need to stop.
Start from the sentence after that, so we don't get interrupted.
No, please say you're my new mother.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking of base motel stuff and. What are you saying?
All right, go ahead.
Go. I'm serious.
So my mother's nickname in the family was Helen Hallmark. Okay? A date that meant nothing to anybody. She would send a card to. Hey, happy
September 12th, 1988.
Right! Hey, here's a card.
Happy Canadian Boxing Day.
Right!
Right.
She would send a card!
Yeah.
Happy Helen Day.
It really was. She was called Helen Hallmark in our family.
Yeah.
Nobody would send Happy Flag Day card to anybody in the United States but my mother.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, you are just regurgitating.
Well,
On June 2nd, 19 blah blah blah, we shit in Johnsonburg High School.
no,
I'm
please.
just.
First
It's
of all,
not on the same level,
Right.
But you have the same thing my mother has.
I don't. And I don't mean to decline the beautiful words you just told me. I can never replace her, first of all. And this
No, I
it's
don't
only
mean me.
because it's only because I'm a selfish prick. Because it was my birthday.
He's a prick.
Yes.
It was 6 days before my birthday, and Pat's mother took us to wrestling. That's why I remember. And I'm a big wrestling fan. I can tell you, Bret Hart beat Sam Houston with the pile driver. Dino Bravo rolled up
Sam
Ken
Houston. I
Patera.
forgot the dude that he was.
I know.
I know.
He rolled up Ken Patera and held the ropes, and I was mad. Hercules got DQ'd against Coco Beware. Anyway, I was there with Pat, and we had pretty
By
good
the way,
seats.
Coco Beware rode my car at one point.
He did.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier.
Yeah. I was sitting there with Pat, and we look up ahead a few rows. We think we have good seats, and who do we see? Of course, in front of us is Mark. So I'm yelling a few rows
That
in front of
son
me.
of a bitch.
Mark's yelling a few rows behind him. And
I still have 2 left.
he was there. He was there, not with any friends, but he was there with his mom. Because his mom was a great lady.
He's there with his best friend.
And nobody else would take him.
Nonetheless,
My point is simply that Helen spared no expense. And tell me if I'm out of line. There may have been times through anybody's life. There may have been times in your life, Mark, where mom should have said, "We just can't right now." But instead she said, let me see what I can do to make this happen.
That woman
So
worked
she got-
3 jobs.
She worked 3 jobs, guys, in those days, and she got
the
marked
priest
the
told us
best seats she could
3
get.
jobs.
My mother was no more in my life that I remember. And I'm talking now that she's been through surgeries, this, that, and the other, in 69.
I'll drink to that. This, that, and the other.
69 years old. My mother was worried about her weight at 150. Now I'll put it out there. 150. My mother was like,
I'd kill for that weight.
I'm,
She's 200 pounds less than I am. 210 pounds less than I am.
she's like,
And she was worried about her weight.
Yeah.
I'm fat at 69. I'm like, Mom, you're not
God
fixing
dang.
it. So prior to that, my mother was very. I'm not saying she was bulimic or any of that.
Right.
She, because my grandmother would not let that happen. She ate this, that, and the other thing.
Great.
I didn't even know I said it that time.
That's the point.
Normally,
Honestly, you never know when you say it. You just say it. And
normally I plan it. That time my mother was just like, we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. It was legit after my mom and dad got divorced. You know, like,
I'm almost positive.
But I want-
your
I
mom
want
said
ringside.
that a lot.
oh yeah,
We'll make that
yeah. My mother worked again, like John or you or I don't know who said earlier in the podcast, 3 jobs at one time. My mother worked at a lumber company, throwing wood more than she could.
I worked at a lumber company. I worked at the same lumber company when I was 22 years old. No, 21 years old. That's a tough job. That's not an easy job.
Right.
She did what she did to provide
Proud
for you
guys.
I didn't go to school most of the time.
I know,
But-
but
Goddamn wrestling
not-
figures with this numbnuts next to me.
I'm not saying that she did what she did because of you. She did what she did for you.
And it makes her such a better person.
It does.
Yeah.
And we could drag this on and on.
She was a tiny lady, and she was slinging lumber
Slinging
with
lumber.
the boys.
Oh! Guys, we really don't know really how to end this. I'm
ahead,
not
man.
gonna.
I can end it.
Good.
I can end it the same way we end everyone.
Listen, guys. Before I pass it along to Paul, I don't care how many listens I get on this. I don't care anything. I needed this for me. I needed this for Can Crushers. I needed this. I needed 5 guys around me tonight.
Yeah.
Because of my mom.
Yep.
Unedited. It's coming at you. This is my mom. Each one of these guys around this table carried so much in my heart, in my mom's heart, in so many hearts that you don't know. Thank you for listening if you did listen.
If you didn't,
If you didn't listen,
Missed a good
you
time.
missed out.
You missed out a good woman.
A few laughs.
yeah.
Even if you didn't know her, you missed out.
Yep.
Yeah, because Helen was
Amazing.
a closet wrestling fan. We really didn't get into
She was the
her.
original Can Crusher.
was.
She was like, she started everything.
We didn't really get into like Magnum and everything that I thought I was going to talk about because these guys.
Jackasses.
What do you want to
Yes,
talk about,
that's-
Mark? We still have time. What do you want to talk
No,
about?
these guys did what I wanted, and nothing more, nothing less. Keep supporting Can Crushers. I love you, and we'll be back soon with our stupidness and whatever else we have. But I'm gonna step back, and everybody around the table is gonna say something, and then Paul will take us out.
Anyway, I spoke before about Helen's heart, Helen's soul, the person that she was, and the person that she is. And I say the person that she is only because she still lives through her children, her grandchildren, and now her great-grandchildren. She was a rare gem. She loved life. She loved people. Whenever speaking to her, it was never... she would get feisty, but she would never get angry. If there was an issue or problem that she had to deal with or talk about, it was never out of anger. It was always out of, well, maybe they should do this or maybe they should do that or whatever it was, but it was out of love. It wasn't out of condemnation. She was a beautiful person with a beautiful spirit. I love her. I miss her. I miss her mannerisms. It was almost like having an aunt you didn't know you had. But she was a beautiful person, and I believe she still is a beautiful person. Again, through her families, through her children, grandchildren, and now her great-grandchildren. Helen, we love you.
Helen, I don't know what else to say, but I love you, Paul and Dom. We watched wrestling so much from probably the greatest wrestling period there was. They support tag teams and everything else. And you were in the background watching everything from this and that. And so, like, we watched, like, King of the Rings, first King of the Rings for the first Royal Rumbles, all the... anything to the... Owen Hart even like passing, and like she was in the background, and when we were sobbing, you could tell that she was sobbing in the background. And thank you for letting us be in your house, and thank you for kicking John out of that damn chair and giving it to me. I love you. I love you so much, and there'll be nothing else. No other person is gonna replace you. Go ahead, John.
Pat can't handle his beer, as you guys can tell.
I got the chair. You're scared. You're just scared that I have the chair. Mark didn't tell you that I got the chair for the. I'm bringing the chair home tonight to my house. If you didn't know, that's what.
All right, let's step in for a minute.
I'm sorry.
She cried as much as we cried with Owen Hart. She had no clue who Owen Hart was.
Yeah.
Once, Owen Hart was one of my favorites. Yeah. This is going to go longer than I wanted, but whatever.
It is what it is.
We were miserable that Owen Hart night. Yeah. Sorry, Paul.
No, she was the.
I actually remember this.
She was the I actually remember together that night, though. You remember that?
She came down in the whole. I didn't want to say anything after you guys said
Wait, what do you mean
something.
she came down? She was watching wrestling upstairs by herself.
No, it was only...
I bet she was.
No, at that time it was only one pay-per-view TV at a time.
Get out!
Yeah, at that point it was only one pay-per-view at a time. And I'm sorry, Dom, I'm jumping on yours.
No. This is your show.
She came down and she cried with us.
Yes, she did.
She had not a dollar into this. And
she had no idea who the guy was.
The three of us were there. And I've always been more of an Owen Hart fan than both of you. I loved the Blue Blazer thing. I loved all of that. I wasn't going to end it that night. I wanted you guys to stay with me, and when they announced it, guys, we were a mess.
Yeah.
It was tragic.
The only thing I want to add, my brother had mentioned that if she had something to say, there wasn't malice behind it, there was love behind it. I'll second that. There were times
your brother was looking at Playboy magazine.
That story.
Put Anthony in the mix. I'll have 3 minutes. You're gonna have to pee.
All right. Yeah, that was my brother Tony. That wasn't my brother Dom. I guess there was a Playboy magazine that he really wanted to see, and Mark had it, and Anthony was looking at it. And Helen,
not caught.
Helen peeked her head in and said, like,
you wanted to see Miss Canada, right?
That's it, yeah.
That's what it was.
I remember this story from last night. I'm sorry. I don't know this story, but I remember this from last
Helen
night.
peeked her head in, and Anthony he's very unassuming. You wouldn't think he would ask something like this. He's like, hey, Mark, you have,
Playboy
take a look
91.
at magazine, Playboy, yeah? So he's looking at it. Helen comes in and says, so who's winning? And my brother dropped the magazine right away. We think Helen saw it, but let us get away with it, but I'm not sure. But, on that note of getting away with something, she yelled at me a time or two like I was one of her own. And that means a lot. It means she cared enough to correct me. So, thank you, Helen. And like everybody else said, we love you. We are going to miss you dearly.
Pick that up, Paul.
Well, that's a nice story.
No, she thought of all of us as. I feel like.
Extended family.
I feel like
Right?
when there's 20 to 30 of us at her house, 20 to 30 of us were her kids, and she wasn't letting us go. And
Even now.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Because I wasn't there for all that. Every time she seen me, she was like, eyes up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I have nothing to do with you guys. Like, Mark's gone, so we can talk, but he's back now.
Oh,
never
damn
mind.
it. Damn it.
Never
He's
mind.
back.
The computer's going to fall asleep.
All right, Mark. Gorilla Monsoon's got his pen in his mouth. Go home.
Wrap it up.
All right, you're in the gorilla position.
Oh, wait. Can I do it first?
You can have some more.
I got to do the thing.
The thing.
Just because you're trash, it doesn't mean you can't do great things. Helen will pick you up and put you on a pedestal and tell you you're the best thing in the world. Because it's not a garbage can. It's a garbage... Or it's not a garbage can. It's a garbage can.
We understand what you're saying.
Again, it's
She would love you.
It's
no
not
matter what.
written down for Paul because I didn't know what he was going to say. Mom, I don't know.
You do.
I've cried a lot. I've cried a lot, and I've cried a lot.
She's at the funeral home tonight. At the end of the mass, they're like throwing the blessing on it.
Yeah, let's
No
talk
one-
about that
no-
for a minute.
Okay, so no one else is talking about this. So at the end of the mass, Mark and his brother is throwing the blessing on her, this and that, and the lights are flickering. And I think
Nonetheless, though.
I think
Nonetheless, though.
I don't want to notice it because I'm an electrician, but I'm like, I talked to everybody here at this table, and they're like, I noticed that too. And I'm like, Helen's there.
Her energy has
She
been
was
with us.
She was
all
like,
week.
I'm not going out like that, so pay attention to me.
Very good.
Guys, this was an amazing emotional podcast for me. These guys will shut down and give me my 2 minutes to end this. I want to thank Dom and the Rated X Superstar, Pat, and the English professor, and Paulie for all being here. I asked them, legit, the night after my mother was buried, to come up because John will tell you. I'll invite John in to say yes, not anything else. But I'm hardcore, and I want to make this guys transparent as much as I can. Paul can also agree with this as well. We want to bring you the best of anything Can Crushers we can. But we're very family oriented as well. If anything happens in this web, we shut down. We shut down. Our families are too close.
Can I intervene for a second?
Paul wants interviewing, but I want to make sure I want to get this thought. We love wrestling, but we love our families way too much more. So if we shut down, realize that. And this was my mom. This was my mom, and I don't know where we're going to come back. It's going to be rough to come back. We will come back. It will be the scheduled time we come back. Will you bring you everything? Paul doesn't watch any wrestling, so it's all about finding out what
Paul.
Mark does watch and leading it to Mark. To
Spotlights.
Paul. Spotlights. We'll be back. We will be back. We'll be back with spotlights. We'll be back with everything. But, Paul wants to say one more thing, and then I love you, Mom.
I don't want to end on that. But what I want to say to you is we don't shut down.
We don't shut down.
We build
In fact, that might be a message from Crazy Shay right now, because Crazy Shay is giving tickets away.
we don't shut down. We build together,
We do.
and we'll come stronger, not stronger. We have weak links. We have broken hearts, but together we're unstoppable. And yes,
But realize, no, I understand what you're saying. But realize that, listen, guys, as a podcast, we're not a paid podcast. We're not anything like that. We're a family fucking podcast.
yeah.
Sitting around this
If we
table
were a
right
paid,
now.
I'd be pissed.
if we were a paid podcast, do you think we'd have as much fun as we have? No, we wouldn't. People would be
I
hearing
would
us.
be taking all the
We
money.
wouldn't be egging on Dom's business or Swanee's fucking car stop.
How many F-words are we going to throw in the last 3 minutes?
We wouldn't.
Sorry, Helen. I'm so sorry for these two idiots.
Yeah, no, I'm upset because he was like, Paul doesn't watch wrestling. I do watch wrestling.
Beat his ass.
Are we over an hour? Are we in Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels overtime? By
Yeah.
We're 11.
11 a minute. 11 minutes over an hour.
Where's the
Listen,
fly?
Here's to the little bit of the bubbly.
Because, guys, we're going to be
Little bit
back.
of the bubbly.
We've got good stuff planned. Even though, Mark never left his mother's side, we communicated. Can't Crush isn't going anywhere.
Who gives a shit? They love us.
We've got good stuff coming, guys. We have really, really good stuff coming. Stick with us.
Stuff's been postponed. It's going to be fast forwarded to
You're going to play what you see.
Listen, the Can Crushers love you. I don't know what else to say. These jackasses are by my side.
a little bit of bubbly.
I can't even get rid of them.
We family.
Listen,
Whether you want us or not, we're here.
guys,
Good
listen.
burps, Kelly.
If we all had bottles, you would hear it. Here's to Helen. One more time.
One more time.
We love you.
We love you, Helen.
We love you
Love
so
you,
much,
Helen.
Helen.
I love you, Mom.
All right.